Ever felt that sting of being overlooked, maybe even laughed at, just because you didn't fit someone else's idea of what smart or capable looks like? That feeling when someone doubts you, maybe even to your face? It cuts deep, doesn't it? Tell me in the comments below. Where are you watching from right now? It's amazing to see how far this story might reach. And hey, before we dive in, a little click on that like button would be a fantastic way to say, yeah, I get that feeling. You guys, you amazing people, this story, it's absolutely for you. It's about a woman who faced that very thing, that very doubt, and turned it completely on its head. Imagine walking into a room, your heart pounding in your chest, knowing everyone is already judging you. That's exactly what happened to a woman named Willow Maeve. Now, Willow wasn't your typical high-powered lawyer, with fancy suits and a booming voice. She was a soft-spoken woman, maybe a little shy, with kind eyes and a gentle smile. People often mistook her quiet nature for a lack of intelligence, a mistake they would soon come to deeply regret. Let's dive to see how Willow proved them all wrong. The courtroom buzzed with anticipation. On one side sat the polished and confident lawyers of a powerful corporation, their expensive briefcases gleaming under the fluorescent lights. On the other side, looking almost fragile amidst the legal giants, sat Willow. She was representing herself in a case against this very corporation, a case that held the key to her family's livelihood. The initial reactions were exactly what you might fear. Murmurs rippled through the courtroom. A few snickers escaped the lips of the opposing counsel and their associates. They saw a simple woman, dressed in a modest dress, and they assumed an easy victory. Their arrogance was almost palpable. They exchanged condescending glances, their eyes saying, "What does this woman think she's doing?" The lead lawyer for the corporation, a sharp-tongued man named Sterling Blackwood, began his opening statement with an air of dismissive confidence. He spoke of complex legal precedents and financial jargon, clearly intending to intimidate Willow and impress the judge. He barely acknowledged her presence, treating her more like an inconvenience than a legitimate opponent. But Willow wasn't intimidated. Beneath her gentle exterior lay a sharp mind and an unwavering determination. She had spent countless nights poring over legal documents, her small apartment filled with stacks of papers and highlighted texts. She understood every detail of her case, every nuance of the law that applied. Her quiet demeanor hid a fierce intellect, a legal brilliance that was about to shock everyone in that courtroom. When it was her turn to speak, Willow stood up, her hands clasped calmly in front of her. Her voice was soft but clear, and it carried an unexpected weight. She didn't try to match Sterling's booming tone or his complex vocabulary. Instead, she spoke simply and directly, laying out the facts of her case with remarkable clarity. She told a story of how the corporation's actions had directly harmed her family, how their negligence had caused them significant financial and emotional distress. She spoke with a quiet passion, her sincerity evident in every word. And slowly, subtly, the atmosphere in the courtroom began to shift. The murmurs died down, the snickers ceased. People started to listen, really listen, to what this simple woman had to say. Then came the first twist, a moment that made Sterling Blackwood's confident smile falter for just a second. Willow presented a piece of evidence, a seemingly insignificant internal memo from the corporation that directly contradicted their claims. Sterling tried to dismiss it, to argue that it was irrelevant, but Willow calmly and methodically explained its importance, citing specific legal statutes that backed her interpretation. You could see the surprise flicker in the eyes of the judge and the jury. As the trial progressed, Willow continued to dismantle the corporation's case piece by piece. She asked insightful questions during cross-examination, revealing inconsistencies in their witnesses' testimonies. She presented documents and emails that painted a clear picture of their wrongdoing. With each carefully presented piece of evidence, with each thoughtful question, Willow's quiet brilliance shone brighter and brighter. Sterling Blackwood, who had initially treated Willow with such disdain, started to look increasingly flustered. His sharp retort became less sharp, his confident demeanor replaced by a growing unease. He had underestimated Willow, and now he was paying the price. The courtroom, which had initially been filled with his arrogance, was now filled with a palpable sense of respect for the unassuming woman standing before them. There was a particularly tense moment when Sterling tried to corner Willow during his cross-examination of her. He asked her a complex legal question, clearly expecting her to stumble, but Willow didn't even hesitate. She answered with precision and clarity, citing the exact case law and the specific section that supported her answer. A collective gasp went through the courtroom. Even the judge looked impressed. But the biggest twist came toward the end of the trial. Willow presented a final piece of evidence, something that no one, not even her own family, knew she had. It was a recording, a secretly made recording of a conversation between two high-ranking executives of the corporation, a conversation where they explicitly discussed their knowledge of the wrongdoing and their deliberate attempts to cover it up. The courtroom fell silent. You could hear a pin drop. Sterling Blackwood's face went white. His carefully constructed defense crumbled before his eyes. The recording was undeniable proof of the corporation's guilt, and it was Willow, the simple woman they had mocked, who had uncovered it. The jury deliberated for only a short time. When they returned, their verdict was clear: guilty. The corporation was held liable for their actions, and Willow had won. A wave of emotion washed over her. Relief, gratitude, and a quiet sense of triumph. She had faced Goliath, armed only with her intelligence and her unwavering belief in justice, and she had emerged victorious. As Willow walked out of the courtroom, the same people who had initially snickered at her now looked at her with admiration and respect. Sterling Blackwood avoided her gaze, the weight of his arrogance and his defeat heavy on his shoulders. Willow's story is a powerful reminder that appearances can be deceiving, that true strength and brilliance often lie hidden beneath a quiet exterior. It teaches us that we should never underestimate anyone based on how they look or how they speak. Everyone has the potential to surprise us, to achieve great things, if only given a chance. What do you think of Willow's incredible resilience and her unexpected legal prowess? Have you ever been underestimated? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, if you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button and share it with others. Let's spread the message that true worth lies within, not in outward appearances. The moral of this story is clear. Never judge a book by its cover. The quietest person in the room might just be the smartest, the most determined, and the one who will ultimately surprise you the most. True brilliance often speaks softly, but its impact can be earth-shattering.